What's going on? This is Bruce Mattson, your host of the show. The show doesn't have a name yet. I just haven't named it yet. This is just one of those things. I decided, hey, I'm going to do some YouTube, start making some shows, and just jumped in and started making content. I don't have a name yet. If you have an idea, drop it in the comments, whatever. I'll think about it. I'm still processing what I want to do with the channel and all that. But I have to give the people what they want. I have to drop this knowledge. I have to share my information. So I am going to continue to do videos and figure it out on the fly. I think that's the best for everybody. But before I dig into this content, before I start dropping all this knowledge, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. And then give me that little thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you don't like it, it's cool. It's cool. I'd rather you be honest. Feedback's cool. I don't care. Leave comments. I'll try and get back to all of them. And I'll try to help you guys out. Also, let's build a little community. We help each other out with our fantasy teams, fantasy football teams, talk some football, make some friends with one another. This is what this is about. Football and building community, building friends, and just being good to one another and just learning the game, just getting better at football. And we all are here for one common goal, and we just love football. We want to do better at fantasy, and we just want to learn. If you've noticed through my last couple of episodes, this is a different channel. We're in season right now. This is a fantasy football show, but I'm not giving you start-sit advice. I'm not telling you who to pick up off the waiver wire. I'm really just going in a different perspective because there's like 1,335,000 shows that give you all that. And I understand that it's 2020, and most of the people that consume this stuff, they're very knowledgeable. This information is easy to get, and I rather just give you my opinion on players, what I see about the game, give you a little bit of information on some of the advanced metrics, and just go from there. Get your wheels spinning so you can make your own decisions in your fantasy leagues. And this goes for Dynasty, Redraft, DFS. I may drop episodes on different things just to keep you guys on your toes, just in case of what you like. But that's how I am. That's my goal with these episodes here. So if you like that, hit subscribe. You're not going to miss out. And then I'm a big Dynasty Devy guy, so I will drop some college football. I will drop a lot of Dynasty content. I'm a staff writer for DynastyLeagueFootball.com. Senior staff writer, as I might add. Have been there for years. So I have articles there, rankings. So if you want to catch that out, go ahead. And then I'm also a staff writer for rotoballer.com. So if you want to see my written content, go to those two sites so you can see that. But right now, we're going to get into it. And I'm going to be talking about T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, and why he's a guy we should know about, we should look into, and really process what's going on with him and what we should do with him going forward. And this is going to go across Redraft, Dynasty, both those avenues. And starting off, I want to talk about Week 3 against the Eagles, where he caught 5 balls for 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. This was technically his breakout game. Week 2, he caught 3 passes for 35 yards, although he was targeted 6 times. He was targeted quite a bit in Week 2. We're seeing his usage ramp up a little bit. That means he's catching on with the offense quickly. He's playing well. The coaches like what they see with him, and it's all good signs. Another thing, in Week 3, his usage was through the roof. He had a 21% share of the targets. He was targeted 9 times, and he had 150 air yards. That means he's been targeted deep to intermediate parts of the field. So when he does catch the ball, those receptions count because they're accumulating yards and points. So he's getting targets deep downfield, which is what we need in fantasy. He had a 38% share of the air yards. So all the passes that are thrown in the air, he's getting a 38% share. That's a large share. That's a large volume. We don't know if this is going to continue going forward. This is a 1-game sample size, by the way. He could go irrelevant for the next 5 weeks and then pop back off Week 11. These rookies who are talented, they don't always go off that first year, as we all know. They sometimes will pop off a game here and there. They just are barely relevant next couple games, and they may go off like weeks 12 through 16 or something like that. Or once the season's over for the team, they got some games left, they just start targeting that rookie wide receiver more, get him more in the game and stuff. We could see that more with Higgins, but the usage now is an indicator that he's catching on quickly in that offense, and that they are looking to use him more going forward. And Joe Burrow's building a rapport with him. If you hear that noise in the background, that's my dog back there snoring. She is right there. I'm not editing that out at all. I barely do any edits. I like to be a one shot and done type of dude. So this video is shot, done, and over with. That's how I like to roll. I don't mess things up when I'm on camera. I'm the GOAT on the mic when it comes to fantasy football anyway, so I'm going to nail it perfect every single time. I don't need any retakes, guys. Not at all. But back to T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a talented pass catcher. He fell to the second round of the draft, but that was like the early part of the second round to the Bengals. And the transition process of him hitting it off pretty early for Cincinnati, which we're hoping this is a hit off for him. He could go back to obscurity after this, but it is something that we've seen in his prospect profile coming out of Clemson. He broke out at age 18 in that Clemson offense. And to think about that, the Clemson offense is just filled with talented pass catchers, the high volume offense. It's hard for a young wide receiver at the age of 18 to gain a 20% share of the passing offense in general. Usually in those high-volume offenses, players don't break out early. Players from Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, those players don't usually break out early. T. Higgins did. So metrically, that's on his side. When you look at his college dominator rating, market share, it's a little bit lower. It's not overly dominant. But you have to really think that once Clemson is blowing out teams, he's out of the game. So when he was on the field, he was only on the field long enough for Clemson to do what he can do. And then that second half, fourth quarter, he was out of the game. Clemson was just killing their opponents. They didn't need to risk him on the field. Nonetheless, he's a very talented guy. What I like about him is he can get downfield and he can make plays on the ball. He has tremendous ball skills. He can rise up. He can climb that ladder and just pluck that ball right out of the air. He has really strong hands. It doesn't matter if he's contested or not. If you look at his tape from last week, he makes this incredible catch by the sidelines. And Burrow made a good play as well. Burrow kind of circled out. He was under pressure. He was under duress. And then he just tossed it up. And the ball went, 20, 30 yards downfield, whatever. And Higgins is over by the sideline. He tracks the ball down really quickly, rises up a bit, and was able to bring in the pass. I suggest you look that up on Game Pass or whatever. It was a great play. And he made some good catches in the end zone. Small sample size, but I've seen this sample size at Clemson, and he is just a monster when he has defensive back stripped on him. It doesn't matter if it's an NFL guy, college guy. He just has that potential. He has that wingspan, 6'4", 216 pounds. He just has that size to be able to bully defenders at the catch point. And usually guys like that, they struggle because at the college level, they're used to winning by just sheer size. But we're seeing this with Higgins where he can win with size, but he also has the ball skills on top of it to maneuver his body, get in position, track the ball, and then use those strong hands to reel it in. And we just want to see him do this more. And there's a good chance that can happen, that this is just the start of a bigger thing getting ready to launch. There's also a chance, if we're looking from a redraft perspective, that T. Higgins flashes here and there, drifts off to obscurity a little bit, doesn't produce, and produces a little bit more, come like week 10, 11, 12, 8, whatever, just down the road. That makes sense to me too, because he's a rookie. He's got a rookie quarterback. The offense is in transition. We don't know what's going to happen. Another category or something to think about is A.J. Green. AJ Green's really showing his age. They tried to get him the football a lot the first couple weeks of the season. They're still trying to get him the ball. But now that we're seeing Higgins starting to take over, starting to get more routes, more snaps, more targets, more air yards, and he's converting, he's doing well, we could see him start getting more infused in the offense. And this could happen sooner than later. And we have liftoff. Dog's going off. Not going to edit that out. I might, but who knows. All right, so Higgins could just excel later in the year because the Bengals are out of it. They could be out of it by week 6, 7. They're a rookie quarterback. Offensive line's horrible. And he could be just seeing target after target after target. And he could be a league winner. He could be. He could be just that rookie that just shows flashes here and there. Dynasty, this is big because we have a rookie who's 21 years old, wide receiver, has good draft capital. He's from one of the best Power 5 schools in the country, and he's already hitting it off as a rookie. That just screams this guy is going to shoot up like a rocket ship in value over the offseason. Once everybody in Dynasty or that plays in Dynasty leagues reevaluates the landscape of players next offseason, and they realize, hey, this is a 21-year-old guy. He's going on 22 years old, and he is already showing that he is talented enough to be able to compete at the NFL level. He's got a great young quarterback prospect throwing the ball. They're looking good together. This makes a lot of sense. He's had some big games. We're going to have to bump him off our board. The buying opportunity to get Higgins cheap is over. He was going as an early second-round pick in rookie drafts last spring, maybe late first round. But the thing about that is that's over with. He is cemented as a first-round rookie pick now. That's over. I'm not selling. There's no way anyone's going to sell him for a second-round rookie pick. Not now that we can see him produce as a rookie. Not right now. We know how talented he was coming out of college, the breakout age, and all that stuff. So he is cemented as a first-round rookie pick if you want to pay for him, and probably more. Like, I would want a little extra because I want to hold that other owner over the barrel, and I want to make sure I get a little bit of insurance when I sell them off because those first-round picks, they don't always hit. But I'm selling a guy who's a young asset that is looking like he's hitting already. So why would I make that move? Why would I make a lateral move that could have some risk there? I kind of want a little extra in return. You always want to think like that in Dynasty. Like if I'm making a lateral move and there's some risk with that lateral move, I want a little bit of insurance in with that. I want a throw in. I want a third-round pick. I want a prospect that I like. I want that injured player that was hyped up from the previous season. I want you to throw him into this deal. You want to think like that. You don't always want to go 1-for-1. You want to squeeze as much juice out of that tournament when you're making those dynasty trades. That's just how that works. You just want to work it out the best you can. But T. Higgins, everything in his prospect profile indicates that he could be a top-tier wide receiver in the league. The reason why he fell to the second round is he didn't perform well athletically. A 4.59 40-yard dash and a really low burst score. Low vertical, low broad jump, and all that stuff. That's what really dropped him down in the draft. And then he couldn't recover from that because then COVID hit, and he couldn't work out again for the teams and stuff. And it just is what it is. He has first-round talent. And with this wide receiver class being so deep with talent, it caused a dilution of talent within the first couple rounds. So some players kind of fell a little bit farther than they should have. Any other year, he might have been a first-round pick. He might have been. I wouldn't have doubted because he's that talented a prospect. Power 5 school. He's made plays. Highlight reel checks out. Been saying all along through this video. T. Higgins has that it factor in his game. We just needed to see it at the NFL level because there was some questions with that athleticism, that deep speed. But the ball skills is there. The skills at the catch points there for him to be able to rise up, climb the ladder, body up that defender, and make the play. Dynasty, I'm all about paying for him, getting him. I think his price is only going to increase from now. You should have bought him during the offseason in the summer when he was dirt cheap, when he was an afterthought, or maybe after week 1 when he wasn't being used as much. But now might be the time to get on it before his stock goes through the roof. If he doesn't pan out the next couple weeks and he doesn't produce, you're not really out anything. His value is going to stay the same because once we get in the offseason, he's going to stay the same due to his age. He's going to get that year 2 for everyone to look at before they make their valuation of how he should be valued. So you got some time to play that asset. So that's why you need to get in before his value jumps. If it's not jumping or you don't like it, I guarantee there's someone in your league that will be willing to pay for him, especially in a 12-team league, 16-team league. Depends. More people in your league, obviously more people to trade with. That's my line of thinking there. But redraft-wise, if you have room to pick him up off the waiver wire, I would do it. You probably should have already did it and just stash him. Just stash him and just see if he pops off. Because you want to shoot for the upside, especially if you're a middling team or one of the back half teams. You want these upside players, picks off the waiver wire. Because if he goes off, like say he starts getting even more targets, starts getting more red zone uses, because his ball skills is going to allow him to get that red zone usage or those red zone targets. If he gets those at a consistent basis, you're talking about a guy who can be a wide receiver 1 on a lot of weeks, or at least wide receiver 2. Because the workload here from week 3 that you got, that's wide receiver 1 workload. That's high-end wide receiver 2 workload. 150 air yards, 21% target share, 9 targets, high volume game with a high volume passing attack against the Eagles. That's enough to produce a wide receiver 1. All he had, if he caught another pass or 2, that would have been it. So, well, we just got to see what it is going forward, but you can't just let him hang out or let your league mates get him off the waiver wire and redraft too. I understand there's some other players to get, but you're not always going to get them either. So T. Higgins is a good guy to take a shot on. If he's sitting there, pick him up and redraft, especially if you got a spot. Let him sit there for a few weeks on your bench, see what happens with him. See where the targets are at, see where the air yards are at. If you can't access air yards and you don't know how to do it, just get at me. I'll be like, hey, T. Higgins had this much air yards for this amount of weeks or whatever. Say it in the comments. Get at me on Twitter at Metric Scout. Shoot me an email, whatever, and I'll gladly help you out and get you that information for T. Higgins or any player you really want. I'll do my best to get back with you. But T. Higgins, if he continues to get this workload, the targets, the air yards, he could really break out here. This is a breakout player that's just simmering right now. I don't know if he's going to be on fire. I don't know if these flames or these little simmers are going to fall out, but this is something to monitor, and this is something we got to act on before the price gets too high. Dynasty, like I said, if you buy him now, you're not going to lose out unless his leg falls off or something. You can always resell him for just about as much or more or close to the same as what you bought him for. Anyways, later on in the offseason, next offseason even, in 2021. You got some time. Redraft, I advise, if he's on the waiver wire, I advise getting him now. I would get him right now. He should be picked up by now. If no one put a claim in, then it's shame on everybody in the league. Get him right now. Let him sit on your bench. See what happens. You start feeling comfortable with him, start starting him. Especially if injuries start hitting wide receivers. If he's continuing getting this workload, there's no way he's not going to start hitting on weeks, especially when Cincinnati has those plus matchups when they're going to be able to throw the ball more. So look at those Vegas totals, look at those over-unders. If the spread is pretty good and it looks like they're going to be behind in the game, and then the over-under is kind of high, saying it's pushing around 50 points, then you may want to just throw T. Higgins in that flex just to hope. Especially when you're playing against one of the best teams in your fantasy league, because you want to shoot for that upside so you can compete against that roster, that lineup. You don't want to shoot for average and just hope for the best either. So sometimes you just want to throw a T. Higgins in there and hope that player hits their ceiling and puts you over the top. You want to be able to think out of the box. It's not always just cookie cutter, who's ranked higher or whatever. You sometimes got to think out of the box with those lineups and do the best you can. But just be aggressive with T. Higgins. Do whatever you can do to get him on your roster and get him as quick as possible. That's all I got to say. I want to thank you guys for listening to the show, watching the show. Before you head out, make sure you hit subscribe right down there, whether it's on your phone, tablet, PC, whatever. Hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode. This show's going to eventually blow up. I'm going to have thousands of subscribers, thousands of viewers. And if you hit subscribe now, you can say you got in when I was in the early days of my career on this YouTube channel. I've been around fantasy football for years. I'm just now starting to get on this platform. As you can tell through my first few videos, things are starting to look good. I'm starting to get more subscribers. I'm starting to build up. And you can get on that ground level. You won't miss an episode. And then you click that bell so you can get that notification. You know when this video drops. You can click it. You can watch it. And you know you're going to be a better fantasy player because of it. You're going to know more football because of it. And even if you don't agree to me, I'm dropping advanced metrics. I'm giving you different perspectives. I'm at least going to give you a long form answer to why. And then if I'm wrong, at least you got the process. The process is what's important for evaluating players. It's not whether you're right and wrong is very important, but having a process is what's most important, because that's going to allow you to be able to fine-tune what you're doing when you're watching film, analyzing metrics, evaluating trades, and all sorts of things. It's process over results, because you can't get the results without the process. And I'm pretty good on my process, and I've had it established for years. I'm a veteran in this, and I just want to share my knowledge so you guys can be better, or at least be entertained, because I know I'm very entertaining when I'm on this microphone and behind this camera. But thank you guys for listening. Hit subscribe, ring the bell. I'm out. Peace out.